book. I'm here at Harriet's Bookshop in the Fishtown section of North Philadelphia. Our mission is to celebrate women authors, women artists, women activists, and I think that's why we have been invited to this really special evening, is because of that mission and because of the way that we couldn't have that mission and not celebrate and totally salute and even sometimes bow to the power that Toni Morrison envelops with words and with storytelling. And I have pages 204 to the very end. I'm going to close this thing out heavy if I can. And so I'm just going to start. So it was. A little black girl yearns for the blue eyes of a little white girl, and the horror at the heart of her yearning is exceeded only by the evil of fulfillment. We saw her sometimes, Frida and I, after the baby came too soon and died. After the gossip and the slow wagging of heads, she was so sad to see. Grown people looked away. Children, those who were not frightened by her, laughed outright. Again, the damage done was total. She spent her days, her tendril, sapped green days, walking up and down, her head jerking to the beat of a drummer so distant only she could hear. Elbows bent, hands on shoulders, she flailed her arms like a bird in an eternal, grotesquely futile effort to fly. Beating the air, a winged but grounded bird, intent on the blue void it could not reach, could not even see, but which filled the valleys of the mind. We tried to see her without looking at her and never went near. Not because she was absurd or repulsive or because we were frightened, but because we had failed her. Our flowers never grew. I was convinced that Frida was right, that I had planted too many too deeply. How could I have been so sloven? So we avoided Pecola breedlove forever. In the years folded up like pocket handkerchiefs, Sammy left town long ago. Charlie died in the workhouse. Mrs. Breedlove still does housework, and Pecola is somewhere in that little brown house she and her mother moved to on the edge of town, where you can see her even now, once in a while. The bird-like gestures are worn away to a mere picking and plucking her way between the tire rims and the sunflowers, between Coke bottles and milkweed, among all the beauty and waste of the world, which she herself was. All of our waste, which we dumped on her and which she absorbed, all of our beauty, which was hers first and which she gave to us, all of us, all who knew her, felt so wholesome after we cleaned ourselves on her. We were so beautiful when we stood astride her ugliness. Her simplicity decorated us. Her guilt sanctified us. Her pain made us glow with health. Her awkwardness made us think we had a sense of humor. Her inarticulateness made us believe we were eloquent. Her poverty kept us generous. Even her waking dreams we used to fill our own nightmares. And she led us, and thereby deserved our contempt. We honed our egos on her, padded our characters with her frailty, and yawned in the fantasy of our strength. And fantasy it was, for we were not strong, only aggressive. We were not free, merely licensed. We were not compassionate. We were polite, not good, but well-behaved. We courted death in order to call ourselves brave and hid like thieves from life. Child. We substituted good grammar for intellect. We switched habits to simulate maturity. We rearranged lies and called it truth. Seeing in the new pattern of an old idea the revelation and the word. She, however, stepped over into madness, a madness which she protected from us simply because it bored us in the end. Oh, some of us loved her. The Maginot Line, and Charlie loved her. I'm sure he did. He, at any rate, was the one who loved her enough to touch her, envelop her, gives her something of himself. But his touch was fatal, and the something he gave her filled the matrix of her agony with death. Love is never any better than the lover. Wicked people love wickedly, violent people love violently, weak people love weakly, stupid people love stupidly, but the love of a free man is never safe. There is no gift for the beloved. The lover alone possesses his gift of love. The loved one is shorn, neutralized, frozen in the glare of the lover's inward eye. And now when I see her searching the garbage for what? The thing we assassinated? I talk about how I did not plant the seeds too deeply, how it was the fault of the earth, the land, our town. I even think now that the land of the entire country was hostile to marigolds that year. This soil is bad for certain kinds of flowers, certain seeds it will not nurture. certain fruit it will not bear. And when the land kills of its own volition, we acquiesce and say the victim had no right to live. We are wrong, of course, but it doesn't matter. It's too late. At least on the edge of my town, among the garbage and the sunflowers of my town, it's much, much, much too late. All right, and there were two questions that I was asked that I was kind of going over while I was, preparing for this, which was one, what would I tell a little Pecola or a little Jeannine about this life, and what I might have needed to hear that I didn't hear or didn't hear enough or didn't understand when I was younger. And one of those things is right. Write it all down. And keep track, because that'll give you something that you can use later on. And the other thing that they asked me was, of course, just to pay homage to Toni Morrison, which I think I do probably every day. Because, like I said, if this wasn't Harriet's Bookshop, it would be Toni's. And now that it's, that doesn't mean it's not too late to do that later on. So, again, thank y'all.
People